The black card hit the marble counter with a sharp click. Declined. The word hung in the air like poison. Sheikh Rashid Al-Mansour's face went white, then red. His jaw clenched so tight I heard his teeth grind from 6 feet away. Impossible, he hissed. Run it again. The boutique manager, a thin man with wire-frame glasses, swiped the card a second time. His fingers trembled. Everyone in the store had frozen. The 2 saleswomen, the security guard, the elderly couple pretending to look at silk scarves, and me. I was kneeling on the floor behind a display of Italian leather handbags, scrubbing at a wine stain someone had spilled an hour earlier. My uniform was the same dull gray it had been for 3 years. My name tag said Maria, cleaning staff. Nobody ever looked at me twice. Declined again, sir. The manager's voice cracked. Perhaps another card? Sheikh Rashid slammed his palm on the counter. The sound made everyone jump. Do you know who I am? His accent was thick, royal. I could buy this entire building with 1 phone call. The manager bowed his head. Of course, sir. Then fix it. I kept scrubbing. Kept my eyes down. That's what Mama taught me. Stay invisible, mija. Rich people's problems aren't ours, but I'd seen this before. 3 months ago. Different store. Different billionaire. Same frozen screen on the payment terminal. Stick till the end. At 80%, there's a reveal you won't see coming. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories like this. The sheikh pulled out his phone. His hands shook with rage. He barked orders in Arabic, switching to English every few seconds. Yes, I'm at Maison Laurent. No, the card isn't working. I don't care what the balance says, fix it. I glanced up for just a second. His suit probably cost more than my mother made in a year. Diamond cufflinks caught the boutique's crystal lighting. His watch was the kind you see in magazines, the ones that come with their own insurance policies. But his eyes, they were panicked, not angry panicked, scared panicked. I knew that look. The manager coughed politely. Sir, if you'd like to step aside, I can help the other customers and we can resolve this when I'm not moving. The sheikh's voice dropped to something dangerous. Process the transaction. A woman behind him sighed loudly. She wore a cream-colored dress that probably cost more than my car. Some of us have appointments, she muttered. The sheikh whirled on her. Then go somewhere else. Maybe you should, she shot back. If you can't even afford a handbag. The boutique went silent. The sheikh's face turned purple. I stopped scrubbing. What did you say? His voice was quiet now. Too quiet. The woman lifted her chin. I said what I said. This is Maison Laurent, not a charity shop. If your card doesn't work, my family owns half of Dubai. Each word was a knife. We have hotels on 3 continents. Oil fields that, and yet, she smiled, cold as winter. Your card is declined. The sheikh looked like he might explode. The manager stepped between them, hands raised. Please, let's all remain calm. I'm sure this is just a technical. It's not technical. The woman pulled out her own card, platinum gleaming. Some of us actually have money in our accounts. She slid it across the counter. The terminal beeped, approved, instantly. The woman gathered her shopping bags and brushed past the sheikh. As she reached the door, she looked back. Maybe next time don't come shopping when you're broke. The door chimed as she left. The sheikh stood there, frozen. I'd never seen someone so powerful look so small. The manager cleared his throat. Sir, perhaps if you contact your bank, get out of my sight. The sheikh's voice was hollow now, defeated. He turned and walked toward the door. That's when I saw it. His phone screen, still lit in his hand as he passed my corner. The banking app was open. Account balance, $847,847 million, and the card still said declined. I stood up. My knees cracked from kneeling too long. Excuse me? I called out. Everyone turned. The manager? The saleswomen? The security guard? The sheikh stopped at the door. I think I know what's wrong, I said. My voice sounded small in the huge boutique. My cleaning gloves dripped soapy water onto the marble. The sheikh turned around slowly. His eyes swept over me. The gray uniform. The worn sneakers. The name tag. You? He said it like I was a stain on his custom shoes. I swallowed hard. Yes, sir. You think, he laughed. It wasn't a kind sound. The cleaning girl thinks she can solve what my bank's IT department can't. The manager stepped forward. Maria, please return to your duties. But something in me wouldn't back down. Maybe it was seeing that balance. $847 million. And the man couldn't buy his own daughter's birthday present because I'd heard him on the phone earlier, talking about his little girl turning 6 tomorrow. Maybe it was remembering Mama's face last year when her card got declined at the grocery store. Not because she was broke, because the magnetic strip had worn out from too much use, from too many minimum wage shifts. Maybe I was just tired of being invisible. It's not the card, I said quietly. It's the terminal. The Sheikh stared at me. The manager's face went red. Maria, I'm warning you, what do you mean? The Sheikh's voice had changed. Less angry, more curious. I took a breath. 3 months ago, there was a software update. Some of the older terminals, like that one, they have a bug with international cards, specifically cards issued by banks in the Gulf states. The currency conversion protocol gets stuck in a loop. The boutique was so quiet I could hear the air conditioning hum. The Sheikh took a step toward me. How do you know this? My mouth went dry. Because I wasn't supposed to know this. Cleaning staff don't know about payment systems and software bugs and currency protocols. But I did. Because before, I was Maria the cleaning girl. Before Mama got sick and we needed any job that paid. Before I dropped out to help with bills, I was the girl who got a full scholarship to MIT for computer science. I was the girl who built her first encryption algorithm at 15. I was the girl who almost had a different life, but none of these people knew that. To them, I was just the help. I read about it, I said. The lie tasted bitter. Online. Tech blogs, the Sheikh's eyes narrowed. Tech blogs. Yes, sir. He studied me for a long moment, then he turned to the manager. Let her try. The manager's mouth fell open. Sir, she's not qualified to... I said, let her try. The Sheikh's voice had that royal command back in it. Unless you'd prefer I take my business and my family's business elsewhere. The manager's face went pale. He knew what that meant. The Al-Mansour family probably spent more here in a month than the store made in a year. Of course, sir. He gestured weakly toward the counter. Maria. My legs felt like water as I walked to the terminal. Everyone watched me. The Sheikh. The manager. The staff. The remaining customers. I pulled off my cleaning gloves. My hands were wrinkled from the soapy water, nails short and plain, nothing like the manicured hands that usually touched this expensive equipment. The terminal was a Verifone VX520, older model. The screen showed the frozen transaction. That cruel word still blinking. Declined. I took a breath, then I pressed 3 buttons in sequence. Menu. Function. 7, 2, 4. Enter. The screen flickered. What are you doing? The manager leaned over my shoulder. That's the admin mode. You need a password. The system beeped. Access granted, the manager gasped. How did you... I ignored him. My fingers moved across the keypad. Muscle memory from a life I'd left behind. Navigate to. Payment protocols. Submenu. Currency exchange. There, the bug. Plain as day to anyone who knew what to look for. The exchange rate table had corrupted. All Gulf state currencies routing through a dead API endpoint. The system was trying to verify funds through a server that no longer existed. 15 seconds. That's all it took to fix. I reset the table, cleared the cache, rebooted the payment module. The terminal went dark for 3 seconds. Then it lit up again. Green screen. Ready for payment, I stepped back. Try the card now. The Sheikh handed his black card to the manager. The manager's hand shook as he swiped it. 1 second, 2 seconds, approved. The transaction went through. The receipt printer whirred to life. The manager stared at the terminal like it had performed a miracle. The Sheikh looked at me. Really looked at me this time. What's your name? He asked. Maria, sir. Maria Reyes. Maria. He said it slowly, like he was memorizing it. Where did you learn to do that? This was the question I'd been dreading. Because the truth was complicated. The truth was a scholarship letter I never got to use, a mother's hospital bills, a choice between my dreams and her life. The truth was every night spent watching free coding tutorials on YouTube after my cleaning shifts. Every lunch break spent in library corners, reading programming textbooks I couldn't afford to buy. The truth was I'd kept learning, kept growing, even while scrubbing floors, because giving up MIT didn't mean giving up me. But I couldn't say any of that. So I said, "Just picked it up, sir." "Here and there." His eyes didn't leave mine. "Here and there." "Yes, sir." He pulled out his wallet, drew out a business card, handed it to me. The card was heavy. "Real gold leaf on the edges. Rashid Al Mansour, Chairman, Al Mansour Holdings, my office," he said. "Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. I stared at the card. "Sir, I don't understand." "You fixed in 30 seconds what my IT team couldn't fix in 3 phone calls." His voice was different now, respectful. "I need people like you." The manager made a strangled sound. "Sir, surely you're not offering a position to a—" The Sheikh's glare could have melted steel. "To a what?" The manager went silent. The Sheikh turned back to me. "Tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Don't be late." He collected his shopping bags and walked out. Just like that. The door chimed behind him. I stood there holding the business card. My fingers were still wrinkled from cleaning. Solution. My uniform still smelled like lemon polish, but everything had changed. The manager grabbed my arm. "What did you do?" His breath smelled like coffee and desperation. "What did you do to that terminal?" "I fixed it. That's admin level access, password protected. How did a cleaning girl—" "I got lucky," I said. Pulled my arm free. "Just lucky." His eyes were wild. "You're lying." "You did something. Hacked it, broke protocol. I could have you fired for fixing the terminal." I met his gaze. "For saving the sale? For making sure a billionaire client didn't walk out angry?" His mouth opened. Closed. Opened. Again, he had nothing, because I'd done exactly what needed doing. And everyone had seen it. The rest of my shift passed in a blur. The saleswomen whispered whenever I walked past. The security guard watched me like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. When 6 o'clock came, I hung up my uniform in the staff room. Changed into my regular clothes. Jeans and a faded t-shirt that said "Code is Poetry" in cracked letters. A gift from my roommate at MIT orientation. Back when I thought that would be my life. I caught the bus home. Mama was in her wheelchair by the window when I came in. She'd had a good day, I could tell by the way she smiled. "Mia," she said. Her voice was soft, tired. "How was work?" I sat on the floor next to her chair. Rested my head against her knee like I used to when I was little. "Mama," I said. Something happened. I told her everything, the Sheikh, the card, the terminal. The business card now burning a hole in my pocket. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she touched my hair. "You were always so smart, Maria. Too smart for scrubbing floors." "I don't mind the work, Mama. It pays." "I know what it pays." Her voice cracked. "I know what you gave up. For me." "Mama, don't MIT." She said it like a prayer. "Full scholarship. Computer science. You were going to change the world." Tears burned behind my eyes. "I still can, just differently." She cupped my face in her hands. They were thin now, bird-bone fragile. The cancer had taken so much from her. "Tomorrow," she whispered. "You go to that meeting. You see what he wants. Maybe what?" Her eyes were fierce. "Maybe this is why you stayed. Not just for me. Maybe this is your door." That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the business card on my nightstand. Real gold leaf on the edges. Embossed lettering, "Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. What did a billionaire want with a cleaning girl? What did he see when he looked at me? And more importantly, what happened when he found out I wasn't supposed to be invisible? That underneath the gray uniform and minimum wage, I had a mind that could navigate systems, break codes, see patterns in chaos. That I was more than the floors I scrubbed. So much more. But showing that meant risking everything. The safe, invisible life I'd built. The steady paycheck that kept Mama's medications coming. The low expectations that meant I could never fail because no one expected me to succeed. What if I went to that meeting and fell on my face? What if I didn't? The questions chased each other in circles until dawn crept through my window. At 7 o'clock, I got up, showered, put on the only professional clothes I owned. A white blouse and black pants I'd bought for my MIT interview years ago. They still fit, barely. I stood in front of the mirror. Maria Reyes, cleaning girl. Maria Reyes, almost MIT student. Maria Reyes, ? Who was I about to become? Mama was already awake. She insisted on making me breakfast even though her hands shook. "Eat," she commanded. You need strength. I choked down eggs I couldn't taste. At 8:15, I kissed her forehead. Proud of you, Mija, she whispered. Always. The Al Mansour Holdings building was downtown. 40 stories of glass and steel that caught the morning sun like a mirror. I'd walked past it 1,000 times on my way to work. Never imagined I'd walk inside. The lobby was all marble and water features. My shoes squeaked on the polished floor. The receptionist looked up. Her smile was professional, distant. Can I help you? I pulled out the business card. I have a meeting with Sheikh Al Mansour. 9 o'clock, her eyebrows rose. She glanced at my clothes. My old blouse. My scuffed shoes. Name? Maria Reyes. She typed on her computer, frowned, typed again. I don't see you in the system. My heart sank. Of course, he'd forgotten. Or changed his mind. Or it was all some cruel joke. The elevator dinged behind me. A woman stepped out. Mid-40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. Miss Reyes? She asked. Yes? I'm Sarah Chen, the Sheikh's executive assistant. Please come with me. She didn't wait for me to respond, just turned and walked back to the elevator. I followed, legs shaking. The elevator climbed. 20 floors, 30, 35. Sarah didn't make small talk, just stood there checking her phone. At the 40th floor, the doors opened onto a private lobby. More marble. Original artwork on the walls. A view of the city that made my breath catch. Wait here, Sarah said. She disappeared through double doors of dark wood. I stood there, trying not to hyperventilate. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the entire city spread out below. Somewhere down there was the bus stop where I waited every morning, the boutique where I scrubbed floors, the tiny apartment where Mama waited. Up here, it all looked so small. The double doors opened. He'll see you now, Sarah said. I walked forward, into the office, into whatever came next. Sheikh Rashid Al Mansour sat behind a desk the size of a small car. The morning light turned his white robes almost golden. He looked up from his computer, gestured to the chair across from him. Maria, thank you for coming. I sat. My hands wouldn't stop shaking, so I folded them in my lap. Sir, I want to thank you for... He held up a hand. I had my team research you last night. My blood went cold. What they found was... interesting. He turned his monitor so I could see it. On the screen, my old MIT acceptance letter. The scholarship paperwork. My application essay about using technology to bridge social gaps. All of it. Everything I thought I'd left behind. So, the Sheikh said quietly, tell me, Maria Reyes, why is someone with a perfect score on the computer science entrance exam scrubbing floors? The question hung between us like a blade, and I realized this wasn't just a meeting, it was a test. But then something happened that would change everything. Billionaire Sheikh's credit card gets declined. What the Maid's daughter did next left everyone speechless. Part 2. Act 3 stared at the screen. At my own words from 4 years ago. Technology should serve everyone, not just the privileged. I want to build systems that give voice to the voiceless, power to the powerless. 18-year-old Maria had written that. Before hospital bills. Before reality. Before I learned that idealism doesn't pay for chemotherapy. Well, the Sheikh leaned back in his chair. I'm waiting, my throat was tight. My mother got sick. Cancer, he said. Not a question. Stage 3. The insurance didn't cover everything. MIT offered financial aid, but not enough. Not for tuition and her treatments. So the word stuck. I made a choice. You gave up MIT. I gave up nothing. The words came out harder than I meant them. I chose my mother's life over a piece of paper. His expression didn't change. And MIT? Did they hold your spot? I laughed. It sounded bitter. For 1 semester. I told them I'd defer. Take a year. Come back when things stabilized. But things didn't stabilize, no. The silence stretched. Outside, a plane crossed the sky. Down below, the city moved. People going to jobs that mattered. Lives that had purpose. The scholarship expired, I continued. They gave it to someone else. Someone who could actually use it. And I met his eyes. I learned that dreams are expensive. Life is more expensive. The Sheikh nodded slowly. So you became invisible. The word hit like a fist. I became employed, I corrected. I took care of my responsibilities while reading tech blogs. His tone was skeptical. Learning admin passwords. Fixing payment systems. YouTube is free. The library has Wi-Fi. You can learn anything if you want it badly enough. He studied me for a long moment. Then he stood, walked to the window. Hands clasped behind his back. Do you know what I see when I look at this city, Maria? No, sir. Potential. Wasted potential. He turned. Thousands of people working jobs that don't challenge them. Talents buried under bills and bad luck. Genius scrubbing floors because the system failed them. My jaw clenched. The system didn't fail me. Life happened. I dealt with it. You dealt with it by hiding. The accusation stung. I'm not hiding. I'm surviving. Is there a difference? He moved back to his desk, sat down. Yesterday you could have stayed invisible. Kept scrubbing. Let me walk out angry and embarrassed, but you didn't. I solved a problem. That's all? No. He leaned forward. You took a risk. You showed yourself. You broke character. His eyes were sharp. Why? The question caught me off guard. Why had I spoken up? I thought about Mama's face when her card declined. The shame in her eyes. The way she'd apologized to the cashier like poverty was her personal failure. Thought about standing there invisible while a billionaire suffered the same humiliation. Money didn't matter in that moment. Human dignity did. Because it was wrong, I said quietly. What that woman said to you. How she treated you. Money doesn't make someone disposable. Neither does the lack of it. Something shifted in his expression. My daughter, he said slowly, turns 6 tomorrow. I was buying her a gift. A handbag. Ridiculous, I know, but she saw it in a magazine and he smiled. Sad. She drew me a picture. Daddy, this one, please. With hearts around it. His voice cracked slightly. And I stood there with $800 million in my account, unable to buy my little girl the one thing she asked for. That woman looked at me like I was trash. Like I was invisible, I finished. Yes. We sat in that understanding for a moment, then he pulled out a folder, slid it across the desk. This is an employment contract. My heart stopped. Sir, I don't, head of IT security. He tapped the folder. Salary, $200,000 per year. Full health benefits, dental, vision. Coverage for your mother's treatments. All of them. The room spun. 200,000. That was, I couldn't even process it. I can't accept this. Why not? Because I'm not qualified. I dropped out. I have no degree, no certifications, no. You have what matters. His voice was firm. Skill, instinct, the ability to see what others miss. And something rarer, integrity. You don't know me, I know enough. He opened the folder. My current IT department missed that terminal bug. They've missed 3 security breaches in the past year. Small ones, but breaches nonetheless. I need someone who thinks differently. Someone hungry. There are hundreds of qualified people who went to the right schools, had the right connections, the right opportunities. He closed the folder. But how many of them would have spoken up yesterday? How many would risk their minimum wage job to help a stranger? I had no answer. This isn't charity, Maria. I don't do charity. This is business. You have a talent I need. I'm offering you a chance to use it. My hands shook. 200,000. Mama's treatments covered. A real career. Everything I dreamed of, but something felt wrong. What's the catch? I asked. He smiled. Smart, there's always a catch. He stood again. Paste to a painting on the wall. Abstract, lots of gold and blue. My company handles financial systems. Payment processors. Banking software. Billions of transactions every day. He glanced back at me. We also have enemies. Competitors who'd love to see us fail. Hackers who'd pay millions for our data. Governments that don't like how much influence we have. His jaw tightened. 6 months ago, someone tried to breach our systems. They didn't get far, but they got farther than they should have. What did they take? Nothing. That time, he turned. But they learned our architecture, mapped our defenses, and they'll be back. The weight of it settled on my shoulders. You want me to stop them? I want you to anticipate them. Think like them. Find the holes before they do. He returned to his desk. The catch, Maria, is that if you fail, if someone gets through on your watch, my company loses billions. Possibly collapses. Thousands lose their jobs. He let that sink in. Still want the position? Every logical bone in my body screamed no. This was too much, too fast, too impossible. I was a cleaning girl with YouTube tutorials and library books. Not a corporate security expert. Not someone who could protect billions. But then I thought about Mama, about her medication that cost $4,000 a month, about the wheelchair we'd bought, secondhand because the good ones weren't covered, about every night I'd spent teaching myself code while she slept, thinking, someday maybe if I get lucky. This was someday, this was the luck. I want it, I heard myself say. The Sheikh smiled, really smiled this time. Good. You start Monday. Monday? That's 3 days. You'll need time to give notice at the boutique. Get your affairs in order. He pulled out his phone. Sarah will handle the paperwork. You'll meet the IT team on Monday morning. I suggest you prepare. Prepare how? His eyes gleamed. They're not going to like you. Of course not. I was the girl who'd bypassed their protocols. Made them look incompetent. And now I was going to be their boss. I can handle it, I said. I know you can. He stood, extended his hand. Welcome to Al Mansour Holdings, Miss Reyes. His grip was firm, respectful, like I was an equal. I walked out of that office in a daze. Sarah Chen was waiting in the lobby. She had a tablet ready. Sit, she commanded. I sat. For the next hour, she went through paperwork. Benefits, non-disclosure agreements, security clearances, my hand cramped from signing. One more thing, Sarah said. She pulled up a photo on her tablet. This is the IT department. 12 people. You'll be managing all of them. I looked at the photo. 12 faces, mostly men, all older than me. All with expensive suits and degrees from schools I'd only dreamed of. In the back row, one man stood out, mid-30s, sharp features, arms crossed, expression like he'd just tasted something sour. Who's that? I pointed, Viktor Kozlov. Current head of IT security? Well, former head as of Monday. Sarah's tone was neutral. He's been with the company 8 years. Harvard graduate. Multiple certifications. And I'm replacing him. Yes. He's going to hate me. Oh, absolutely. Sarah smiled. It wasn't comforting. Victor's been angling for VP of technology. This is going to be difficult for him. Difficult, right? More like a declaration of war. Any advice? I asked. Sarah considered. Don't apologize for existing. Don't explain yourself. And whatever you do, don't let them see you sweat. She stood, handed me a badge. This gets you into the building. Your office is on the 38th floor. IT department is on 37. You'll need to come in Sunday to set up. Sunday? I thought I start Monday. You do. But trust me. Her expression was serious. You want to see the systems before they see you. Understand what you're walking into. She was right. Thank you, I said. Sarah nodded. One more thing, Maria. The Sheikh doesn't give chances lightly. He sees something in you. Don't waste it. I won't. Good. She checked her watch. Now get out of here. You have a lot to prepare for. I took the elevator down in silence, walked through the marble lobby, pushed through the revolving doors onto the street. The morning sun hit my face. The city looked the same. Same traffic, same people rushing past, same world, but I was different. I pulled out my phone, called Mama. She answered on the first ring. Mija? I got it, my voice cracked. The job. I got it. She was quiet for 3 heartbeats. Then she started crying. Mama, no, it's good news. I know, baby. I know. She was laughing and crying at the same time. I'm so proud of you. So proud. We stayed on the phone for 20 minutes. I told her everything. The salary. The benefits. Her treatment's fully covered. You don't have to worry anymore, Mama, about money. About medicine. I'm going to take care of everything. You already were, she whispered. But now you get to fly. That weekend blurred. Saturday I went to the boutique. Gave my 2 weeks' notice. The manager's face went purple. You can't just leave. We have contracts, at-will employment, I said calmly. No contracts. And I'm giving you courtesy notice. This is because of that stunt you pulled. The Sheikh offered me a real job. Yes. His mouth worked like a fish. You think you're better than us now? Better than this? I thought about it. The early mornings. The aching knees. The way customers looked through me like I was furniture. No, I said honestly. I think I'm exactly who I've always been. You just couldn't see it. I left my uniform on his desk and walked out. The saleswomen stared. Let them stare. Sunday morning, I went to Al Mansour Holdings. The building was mostly empty. Security let me up with my new badge. The 37th floor was silent. Row after row of cubicles. Expensive equipment. Screens dark for the weekend. I found the server room, used my credentials, the one Sarah had given me. The door clicked open. Inside was beautiful chaos. Racks of servers humming. Lights blinking green and amber. The smell of electronics and cold air. This was the heart of the company. Every transaction, every dollar, every piece of data, all flowing through these machines. I sat at the central terminal, logged in with my admin access, and started exploring. The architecture was good. Not great. Standard security protocols. Firewalls at expected points, but there were gaps. Little ones. The kind that wouldn't matter until they did. I pulled out a notebook. Started mapping. Hours passed. I filled 3 pages with notes, vulnerabilities, redundancies, bottlenecks. The system was like a house with good locks on the front door but windows left open in the back. Anyone smart enough would find their way in eventually, unless someone patched the holes first. Was still writing when I heard the door open behind me. I turned. A man stood in the doorway. Sharp features. Arms crossed. Viktor Kozlov from the photo Sarah showed me. "You're not supposed to be here," he said. His voice was cold. Accented. Russian, maybe. His voice was cold. Accented. Russian, maybe. "I have clearance." I showed my badge. He didn't move. "That clearance doesn't start until tomorrow." I wanted to familiarize myself with systems you don't understand, touching things you're not qualified to touch. He stepped inside. "You're the cleaning girl." Not a question. An accusation. "I'm the new head of security. You're a charity case." He moved closer. "The Sheikh feels guilty. Rich man's guilt. He throws you a bone and I lose my position." "That's not... Save it." His jaw clenched. "I've spent 8 years building these systems, 8 years earning respect. And you waltz in because you fixed a credit card terminal? It wasn't just, I don't care." He leaned against a server rack. "Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow you'll sit in your little office. You'll pretend to understand the reports I send you. You'll nod in meetings. And I'll keep doing my job." "Your former job," I said quietly. His eyes flashed. "You think you're smart? Think you earned this?" He pulled out his phone, showed me a screen. "This is my resume, Harvard. MIT, yes, I actually graduated. Certifications from Cisco, CompTIA, SANS. I've stopped 3 major breaches. Saved the company hundreds of millions." He put the phone away. "What do you have? YouTube tutorials? Library books?" His smile was cruel. "You're a joke, and everyone's going to know it." The words landed like punches, because part of me believed them. Part of me thought, he's right, you're an imposter, you don't belong here. But another part, the part that had learned code by streetlight, when the apartment was too hot to sleep, that part was steel. "You're wrong," I said. "Am I? About me. About why I'm here." I stood up, met his eyes. "The Sheikh didn't hire me because he felt guilty. He hired me because I saw something your team missed." "One bug. 3 security breaches," I interrupted. "In the last year, Sarah told me. Small ones, but breaches nonetheless." His face went rigid. "You're good, Viktor. I can see it in the architecture. But you're comfortable. You've stopped questioning your own systems, and that's when the holes appear." "There are no holes. There are 7. I held up my notebook. "I found them in 4 hours." He grabbed the notebook. "Read my notes." His expression changed. Confusion, then anger, then something worse. Fear, because I was right. "These are." He flipped pages. "You can't possibly. Back-end API authentication. Weak. Session management on the payment gateway. Flawed. Employee access controls." I pointed. "Anyone with a stolen badge could access 70% of your secure data." He looked up. "How did you find these?" I looked. "Simple as that. I thought like someone trying to break in, not someone trying to keep things running. Victor stared at me. The anger was still there. But now, there was something else. Respect? Maybe. Resentment? Definitely. Tomorrow, he said slowly, you're going to present these findings. To the team, all of them. Yes, they're going to eat you alive. He handed back the notebook. You think I'm bad? Wait until you meet the others. Jeffrey worked under the CTO at Google. Michelle ran security for 3 Fortune 500s. They're going to tear you apart. Let them try. You really believe you can do this? His voice was quieter now, almost curious. Walk into that room and lead people twice your age with 10 times your credentials? I thought about Mama, about scrubbing floors while my brain solved equations, about every time someone looked through me like I was nobody. Yes, I said. I do. Victor nodded slowly. Then he turned and walked to the door. Paused. The 7th vulnerability, he said without looking back. The one you circled twice. That's the real problem, isn't it? I looked at my notes. The database encryption. The one using an outdated algorithm. The one that could be cracked by anyone with enough computing power and patience. The one that would expose everything. Yes, I said quietly. I've been trying to convince management to upgrade for 6 months. His voice was tight. They said it was too expensive, too disruptive. And now it's your problem. He glanced back. Good luck, cleaning girl. You're going to need it. The door closed behind him. I was alone again with the humming servers and the weight of what I'd just inherited. That night I barely slept. I kept thinking about tomorrow, about walking into a room full of people who didn't want me there. People who'd spent years earning their positions while I scrubbed floors. How was I supposed to lead them? How was I supposed to make them respect me? Mama's voice echoed in my head. You don't need them to like you, Mija. You need them to trust you. Trust. That was the key. Not forcing them to follow. Not pulling rank. Earning it. I pulled out my laptop. The ancient thing I'd bought secondhand 3 years ago. Opened my files. Everything I'd learned. Every tutorial. Every late-night coding session. This was my ammunition. Not credentials. Not degrees. Knowledge. Pure and hard-earned. I worked until dawn, building a presentation, planning responses, anticipating every question, every challenge. When the sun rose, I was ready, or as ready as I'd ever be. Monday morning, I put on my white blouse and black pants, the same ones I'd worn to the Sheikh's office. Mama made me breakfast again. Her hands were steadier today. You look beautiful, she said. Mama, I look terrified. Same thing? She smiled. Courage is just fear that shows up anyway. I kissed her forehead, walked to the bus stop, watched the city wake up around me. Somewhere in that city, Victor was probably planning how to undermine me. Jeffrey and Michelle and the others were probably sharpening their knives. The Sheikh was probably wondering if he'd made a mistake, but I was done being invisible, done apologizing for existing, done letting other people decide my worth. The bus came, I got on, and I rode toward whatever came next. The 38th floor. My office was small, window overlooking the city, desk with a computer already set up. On the desk, a note from Sarah. Conference room B, 9 a.m. Don't be late. I checked my watch. 57, 3 minutes. I grabbed my notebook and laptop, walked to the elevator, rode down 1 floor. The conference room was at the end of the hall. Through the glass walls I could see them, 12 people, sitting around a long table. Victor at the head, arms crossed. They all turned when I walked in. The room went silent. I took a breath. Good morning, I said. My name is Maria Reyes, and I'm here to save your jobs. Victor's eyebrow raised. Jeffrey, balding, 50s, expensive suit, leaned back. Save our jobs? That's bold. It's accurate. I opened my laptop. Connected to the projector. In 4 hours, I found 7 critical vulnerabilities in your security systems. Any one of them could be exploited to cripple this company. Michelle, sharp-eyed, 40-something, frowned. We run quarterly audits. Nothing's come up. Then your audits are incomplete. I pulled up my first slide. Let me show you. For the next hour, I walked them through every flaw, every gap, every risk. I didn't apologize, didn't soften it, just presented the facts. Their faces changed as I talked. Skepticism became concern. Concern became alarm. The database encryption, I said, reaching my final point, is using SHA 256. Industry standard, 5 years ago. But quantum computing has advanced. There are systems that can crack SHA 256 in weeks now, maybe days. That's theoretical, Jeffrey argued. No one actually has. China does. Russia does. The NSA definitely does. I met his eyes. And you think the people trying to breach us don't have access to that tech? Silence. Victor leaned forward. What's your recommendation? Upgrade to SHA 3. Immediately. And implement quantum-resistant encryption on all sensitive data. I clicked to my next slide. I've drafted a timeline. 6 weeks for full implementation. Cost, $800,000. Jeffrey laughed. It wasn't kind. You've been here one day and you want to spend $1 million? I want to not lose $1 billion when someone cracks your database. My voice stayed level. But if you'd rather wait and see what happens, that's your choice. The room shifted. Michelle looked at Victor. She's not wrong. I know, Victor said quietly. Jeffrey shook his head. Management will never approve that budget. Then we convince them. I closed my laptop. Together. The word hung in the air. Together. Not me against them. Us against the problem. Victor's expression was unreadable. Then slowly he nodded. All right, cleaning girl. He almost smiled. Almost. Let's see if you can actually pull this off. But then the conference room door opened. Sarah Chen stood there. Her face was pale. We have a problem, she said. Someone just tried to breach the system. Right now. They're inside. Every head turned to me. And I realized the real test had just begun. Billionaire Sheikh's credit card gets declined. What the maid's daughter did next left. Everyone speechless. Part 3. Act 3. The room exploded. What do you mean inside? Jeffrey was on his feet. That's impossible. Not impossible. Victor was already moving. Where? Sarah's voice was tight. Server room. Someone accessed admin protocols 5 minutes ago. They're downloading financial records. My blood went cold. How much have they taken? I asked. We don't know. The security system is showing. She stopped. You need to see this. We ran, all 12 of us, down the hall, through the security door, into the server room. The main terminal was lit up like Christmas. Code scrolling across the screen, fast. Too fast. Victor pushed past me, sat down. His fingers flew across the keyboard. They're using a rootkit, buried deep in the system. His face was white. How long has this been here? Can you stop it? I leaned over his shoulder. I'm trying. He typed faster. But every time I close one door, they open another. It's like they know the system better than I do. Because they did. The realization hit me like ice water. Pull the network cable, I said. What? Victor looked at me like I was insane. Pull the cable, cut them off. Physically disconnect the server from the network. That'll shut down every transaction in the company, every payment processor, everything. Jeffrey grabbed my arm. We'll lose millions per minute. And if they finish downloading, we'll lose billions permanently. I pulled free. Do it now. Victor hesitated. Then he reached behind the server rack, yanked the cable. The screens went dark. The humming stopped. Silence. Someone call the Sheikh, Michelle said. Her voice shook. He needs to know. He already knows. Sarah held up her phone. He's on his way. My mind raced. A breach. Right after I presented my findings. Right after I exposed the vulnerabilities. Too convenient. Too perfect. This wasn't random, I said slowly. Victor looked up. What do you mean? Think about it. Someone tries to breach the system the same morning I show you 7 security holes? I shook my head. They were waiting. Watching. For what? Jeffrey demanded. For me to show them the map. The pieces clicked together. I gave them exactly what they needed. Every weakness, every gap, all in one neat presentation. The room went quiet. You think someone in this room... Michelle's eyes were wide. I think someone's been feeding information to the outside. I looked at each face. How else would they know about the presentation? How else would they know to strike today? Victor stood slowly. You're saying we have a mole? Yes. That's insane, Jeffrey said. But his voice wasn't confident anymore. We've all been vetted. Background checks, security clearances. Someone smart enough to breach this system is smart enough to fake clearances. I moved to the terminal. Victor, can you trace where the attack came from? Not with the network down. Then we bring it back up. Carefully. I pulled out my notebook. But first we set a trap. 10 minutes later, the Sheikh arrived. He walked in like a storm. Explain, he said. One word. Absolute authority. Victor laid it out. The breach, the download, the disconnection. When he finished, the Sheikh turned to me. Miss Reyes, you've been here 3 hours, and already we have a security incident. The accusation was clear. Everyone stared. This was it. My chance to defend myself, to explain, but I didn't. You're right, I said calmly. This is my responsibility. I exposed the weaknesses. I made us vulnerable, and I'm going to fix it. The Sheikh's eyebrow raised. How? By catching whoever did this. I met his eyes. Give me 2 hours. I'll have your answer. 2 hours. He checked his watch. And if you don't? Then I'll resign. Immediately. Gasps around the room. Victor's eyes widened, but the Sheikh just nodded. 2 hours starting now? He walked out. The door closed behind him with a soft click. I turned to the team. Here's what we're going to do. For the next hour, I worked faster than I'd ever worked in my life. We brought the network back online. Slowly. Section by section, I rebuilt the security protocols, added tracers, backdoors that only I knew about. Then I did something risky. I reopened the exact vulnerability the attacker had used. What are you doing? Michelle hissed. You're letting them back in. Exactly. I didn't stop typing. But this time they won't know I'm watching. Victor understood. You're baiting them. Yes. That's insane. It'll work. I hit enter. Everyone out. Leave me here alone. Make it look like I'm trying to fix things by myself. Maria, Victor started. Trust me, please. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. 2 hours. Don't waste them. They filed out. The door closed. I was alone with the humming servers and my racing heart. 15 minutes passed. Nothing. 20 minutes. Still nothing. I began to doubt myself. What if I was wrong? What if this wasn't bait they'd take? What if... The screen flickered. Someone was accessing the system, using the same rootkit as before. But this time I was watching. My fingers moved across the keyboard. Quiet. Careful. I traced the connection. Through proxy servers, VPNs, encryption layers. Whoever this was, they were good. Very good. But I was better. Because I'd learned in libraries and on buses, in stolen moments and late nights. Without the safety net of tenure or degrees, I'd learned to survive, and survivors know how to hunt. The trail led through 7 different servers, then 8. Then, there, a physical location, inside the building. Floor 37, my floor. The IT department. My blood went cold. I grabbed my phone. Called Victor. It's someone on the team, I said. Right now, in one of the offices. Which one? I checked the trace. Northwest corner, office 3742. Silence on the line. That's Michelle's office, Victor whispered. Michelle. Sharp-eyed, competent, 3 Fortune 500 companies on her resume. Get security, I said. Meet me there, 5 minutes. I hung up. Stood. Walked out of the server room. My heart hammered. What if I was wrong? What if the trace was false? But the data didn't lie. Office 3742. I took the stairs, quieter than the elevator. Up 1 floor, through the door. The IT department was quiet. Most people at lunch. I moved down the hall, past Jeffrey's office, past Victor's, to the northwest corner. Michelle's door was closed. I pressed my ear against it. Heard typing. Fast. Urgent. I pulled out my phone. Opened the tracer app I'd built. Pointed it at the door. The signal matched. Someone inside that office was actively breaching the system. Right now. Footsteps behind me. I turned. Victor, Sarah, 2 security guards. I pointed at the door. Mouthed in there. Victor's jaw clenched. Sarah nodded to the guards. They moved forward. Knocked. Miss Chen? Security. We need to speak with you. Silence. Then, I'm busy. Come back later. But the voice was wrong. Too deep. Too male. Sarah and I locked eyes. The guards didn't wait. They pushed the door open. Inside, sitting at Michelle's computer, Jeffrey. His fingers froze on the keyboard. For 1 long second, nobody moved. Then Jeffrey lunged for the power button. Victor was faster. He grabbed Jeffrey's wrist, twisted. Jeffrey cried out, "Let go, you don't understand." I understand perfectly. Victor's voice was ice. You sold us out. No, I was protecting what? I moved to the computer. The screen showed financial records, client data, everything. Yourself, your bonus, what was the price, Jeffrey? His face crumpled. 2 million, he whispered. They offered me 2 million. The room went silent. Who? Sarah demanded. Competitors. They wanted to know our architecture, our clients, our weaknesses. Jeffrey's voice broke. I have debt. Medical bills for my daughter. I was drowning and they threw me a rope. You were drowning, so you tried to sink the whole ship? Victor's grip tightened. 1,500 people work here. Families depend on this company, and you sold them for money? I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. I pulled the USB drive from the computer. Evidence. You chose wrong. Security hauled him to his feet. As they dragged him past me, Jeffrey looked at me. You don't understand, he said, desperate. You're young. You think integrity pays bills. But wait until you're 50 with a sick kid and student loans and a mortgage. Wait until the world crushes you. Then tell me about choices. I wanted to feel angry, but all I felt was sad. Because I understood. Better than he knew. I'd stood at the same crossroads. The same choice between integrity and survival. And I'd chosen differently. Not because I was better. Because I'd had Mama whispering in my ear. We don't have much, Mija, but we have ourselves. Don't sell that. Never sell that. I do understand, I said quietly. I'm sorry you thought this was your only way. He looked at me, then away. Security took him out. The Sheikh arrived 10 minutes later. We showed him everything. The evidence, the confession, the stolen data. His face was stone. How much did they get? He asked. Some financial records, client names, but nothing critical. I pulled up the screen. I shut him down before he could access the encrypted databases. The ones you wanted to upgrade. Yes, sir. He nodded slowly. If those had been compromised. Billions in losses, Victor finished. She saved us. The Sheikh looked at me. Really looked. Like he was seeing something new. You set a trap, he said. Using yourself as bait? Yes. Without telling anyone. Without backup. His voice was hard. That was reckless. It was necessary. It was reckless. But his eyes softened. And brilliant. And exactly why I hired you. He turned to Victor. Promote Michelle to Jeffrey's position. She's earned it. Start the database encryption upgrade immediately. Whatever Miss Reyes needs, she gets. Yes, sir. The sheikh moved toward the door. Stopped. Maria, he said without turning. My daughter's birthday party is tonight. 7 o'clock, you should come. Sir, I couldn't. You saved my company. You can attend my daughter's party. He glanced back. Besides, she wants to meet the woman her father won't stop talking about. He left before I could respond. Victor let out a long breath. Well, he said. That was dramatic. I almost laughed, hysteria bubbling up. Dramatic. Right. You really didn't know if it would work, did you? No. Honest. I was terrified. Couldn't tell. He held out his hand. You did good, boss. I shook it. His grip was firm, respectful. I'm not your boss, Victor. I'm your partner. Something in his expression shifted. Partners. Something in his expression shifted. Partners. Partners. The rest of the team filtered back in. Michelle, the others. They'd heard everything. One by one, they approached me, shook my hand, nodded. Some smiled, not all of them. Not yet. But it was a start. That evening, I went home first. Mama was waiting. She'd heard the news. Sarah had called her. You caught a criminal, she said, wonder in her voice. On your first day. I got lucky. No, Mika, you were ready. She touched my face. All those nights studying, all those tutorials, you were preparing for this moment even when you didn't know it. I almost failed, but you didn't. She smiled. That's what matters. I changed into the only nice dress I owned. Simple, blue. Mama's, from years ago. It fit perfectly. You look beautiful, she said. I look scared. Same thing. Her old joke. But this time I believed it. The party was at the Sheikh's estate. I took a taxi. Couldn't afford it. Didn't care. The house was huge. All white stone and fountains and gardens that went on forever. A servant took my coat, led me through marble halls, to a garden where 100 people mingled. String lights, live music, tables loaded with food, and in the center, a little girl in a princess dress. She had her father's eyes. The sheikh saw me, waved me over. Amira, he said to his daughter. This is Miss Maria, the one I told you about. Amira looked up at me. Shy. You fixed Daddy's card? She asked. I did. And caught a bad guy? I smiled. I did that too. Her eyes went wide. Are you a superhero? The question caught me off guard. I thought about the girl I used to be, the MIT scholarship, the dreams. I thought about the girl scrubbing floors, learning code by streetlight, surviving. I thought about the woman I was becoming. No, I said honestly. I'm just someone who doesn't give up. Amira considered this. Then she grabbed my hand. Come see my presents. Daddy got me the bag I wanted, the one with hearts. She pulled me toward a table piled with gifts. The sheikh followed. He was smiling. She asked for you specifically, he said quietly. When I told her about you, she said, I want to meet the brave lady. My throat tightened. I'm not that brave. You stood up when no one else would. You risked everything to do what was right. He looked at his daughter. That's the definition of brave. Later, after cake and presents, after Amira had shown me her favorite doll and made me promise to come back, the sheikh and I stood by the fountain. The party continued around us. Laughter, music, life. I made some calls, he said, to MIT. My heart stopped. They have a program for adult learners, non-traditional students. He pulled out a paper from his pocket. You could finish your degree, Part-time while working. I took the paper. My hands shook. Sir, I can't afford. The company can. Consider it professional development. He smiled. A head of IT security should have proper credentials, don't you think? Tears burned my eyes. Why are you doing this? I whispered. Why me? He was quiet for a moment. When that card declined, I felt something I hadn't felt in 20 years. Helpless. Worthless. He looked at me. You saw past the money, past the power. You saw a person who needed help, and you helped. Not for reward, not for recognition, because it was right. He turned to watch his daughter play. The world needs more people like you, Maria, people who choose integrity over comfort, who see others instead of status. His voice was soft. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for everyone you'll help, everyone you'll inspire, everyone who will see that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. I stood there holding the MIT application. The party swirled around me and I thought about choice. Jeffrey had a choice. He chose fear. I had a choice. I chose faith. Not faith in luck or destiny or some cosmic plan. Faith in myself. Faith that hard work mattered. That integrity mattered. That showing up mattered. Even when nobody was watching. Even when it would have been easier to stay invisible. The cleaning girl had a name now. Had a voice. Had a future. 3 months later, I sat in the MIT Extension Program classroom. 20 students. All ages. All backgrounds. The professor asked, "Why are you here? What brought you back to education?" One by one, they answered. Career change, curiosity, second chances. When it was my turn, I stood. "I'm here," I said slowly, "because I learned that your worth isn't determined by your job title or your bank account or where you went to school. It's determined by what you do when nobody's watching, how you treat people who can't help you, whether you stand up when it's easier to stay silent." I thought about the boutique, the declined card, the choice to speak. I'm here because someone gave me a chance, and someday I want to give that chance to someone else. The room was quiet, then the professor smiled. "Welcome back, Miss Reyes. Let's get started." Epilogue. 5 years later. I stood in the same marble lobby where I'd once walked in terrified. But now I was VP of Global IT Security. The systems I'd built protected billions of dollars daily. The team I led was diverse, brilliant, and fiercely loyal, because I never forgot where I came from. Every quarter, I visited community colleges, spoke to students who thought they didn't belong. I created a scholarship fund, full ride, for students with potential but not privilege. We called it the Second Chance Program. Mama was there for the first award ceremony. Healthy now, strong. She cried when I handed the first scholarship to a young woman who cleaned hotels at night and studied code during breaks. "Just like you," Mama whispered. "Just like us," I corrected. The Sheikh retired last year, left the company to his children, but before he did, he pulled me aside. "I want you to know something," he said. That day in the boutique when my card declined, I was ready to walk away from everything, the business, the pressure, the weight. "What stopped you?" "You." He smiled. A girl in a gray uniform who saw me as human, who chose kindness over silence. That moment reminded me why I built this company, not for wealth, for impact. He handed me a photo. Amira, now 11, standing in a science lab, wearing a white coat. "She wants to be an engineer," he said. "Like you. She says you taught her that smart girls can be kind, and kind girls can be strong." My vision blurred. "Tell her," I managed, "that strong girls can be scared. That's okay too." "I will." He gripped my shoulder. "Thank you, Maria, for everything." That night, I went home to the apartment Mama and I still shared. Bigger now, better neighborhood, but still together. I opened my laptop, checked the Second Chance scholarship applications for next semester. 300 applicants, janitors, waitresses, security guards, bus drivers, all with dreams bigger than their circumstances. I'd fund 20 of them. 20 more Maria Reyeses who just needed someone to see them, to believe in them, to give them a chance. I clicked on the first application. A young man, 23, worked night shifts at a warehouse, taught himself Python through YouTube, built an app that helped his coworkers track their schedules. His essay ended with a line that broke my heart. I know I'm just a warehouse worker, but I think I could be more, if someone would let me try. I marked his application. Approved. Typed a note. You're not just anything. You're exactly enough. Welcome to the program. The moral: never let anyone tell you that where you start determines where you finish. Your worth isn't measured by your title, your salary, or your status. It's measured by what you do when no one's watching. How you treat people who can't benefit you. Whether you choose integrity when comfort would be easier. Stay humble. Work hard. And remember, the person scrubbing floors might be the person who saves your company or changes your life. You just have to be willing to see them. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that we're all more than what we appear to be, subscribe to this channel for more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And tell me in the comments, when was the last time you helped someone who couldn't help you back? When was the last time someone saw you when you felt invisible? Share this story with someone who needs to remember their worth, because everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves to be seen. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, your story isn't over. It's just beginning.